Having solid policies and procedures in place is key to running a successful assisted living facility or really any small business, but they take a lot of work to really put into place. So, should you pay for somebody to help you create your own policies and procedures? We're going to talk about that in today's video. Hi, everybody. I'm Brandon Gustafson. I own and operate 2 assisted living facilities, and I created this channel to help people just like you learn the ins and outs of investing in assisted living. Welcome to Assisted Living Investing. Hey, welcome back to the channel. In our last video, we talked about what are policies and procedures. Make sure you watch that video because it's going to give you a lot of context into this video, which is going to be around, should you be paying for somebody to kind of help you create those policies and procedures? Should you pay for somebody to give you a policy and procedure handbook? We're going to get into that in today's video. Now, before I get into why you should, I want to kind of give you an overview of why you should not pay for policies and procedures for your facility. Several reasons why you probably don't want to pay for policies and procedures. And some of those reasons are going to be, policies and procedures really need to be specific to you and to your business. So even if you are paying for something, you're going to still want to be spending a lot of time going in and tweaking things to make sure that it's applicable to you and kind of is meeting your needs, because you might be paying somebody to give you a policies and procedure handbook and they have a 50-bed facility and you're just a 10-bed, and it's going to be just completely different. So you just want to make sure that you are reviewing anything. If you are purchasing it, make sure you review it. Make sure you get a Word copy of it so you can go in and make edits that are going to be specific to you. So it's not going to just be, oh, I paid $1,000, $1,500 for this policies and procedures, and that's it. I'm done with it. You're still going to have to review it and get familiar with it and make edits that are going to be specific to you. Another reason would be, if you have the time and you also have the know-how of writing your own policies and procedures, it's likely going to be a better option for you to just build them yourselves, because you'll then know exactly what each of your policies and procedures are, and you can kind of customize them to meet your needs. It lets you be a lot more targeted and specific in how you're building those different policies and procedures out, and then what you've written, and you can really communicate that to your staff and have something that is working and functioning really, really well. Another reason is purchasing existing policies and procedures. Purchasing it from somebody can be really expensive. You're probably looking at somewhere around $1,500 to $2,500 for a set of really good base policies and procedures to help you get started. So you want to make sure that you have the funds in place if you're going to be purchasing this, because it's going to be expensive and you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation where you're putting yourself into debt or anything like that to purchase these policies and procedures. You want to make sure that you're in a good spot so that you can actually purchase them and function as a facility, not go bankrupt. So just because you need to get policies and procedures in place. So that's something else that you just kind of want to be aware of. Another reason I would say building your own is maybe a really good idea is it's going to kind of force you to really research and figure out what the different policies and procedures are, what you need to do. And that's going to lead to you being just a better business owner. You're going to have a much better understanding of all of the different rules and regulations, where to go, what resources you can go to with the state or at the federal level to help you kind of get things up and running. It lets you understand all of those different rules and regulations that you need to be aware of, which is just going to help you be more successful and just help you be aware when a mandated change comes through, how it's going to really impact you, because you have spent the time and really have ingrained yourself into this process. And so that's another reason why you might consider not purchasing policies and procedures from somebody else. I'm going to get into why you should pay for policies and procedures. So I give you a bunch of reasons why you should not do it. And if you found those reasons to be helpful, make sure you smash that like button because it's going to help you out a lot. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel because it's going to help other people find this information as they're trying to get up and running and operating in their facilities. So let's get into this, why you should pay for policies and procedures. It's going to save you a ton of time. Putting in the amount of time that is required to build out your own policies and procedures is just a mountain of time. It's going to take you probably a good solid 40 to 80 hours of just entrenched working on it, type of work. And it's, I don't know, maybe you really like writing long regulatory type documents. And if you do, good on you. Um, I personally don't, and it's hard. And I've worked in regulatory in medical devices in the past. Not my cup of tea. So it's going to save you a ton of time if you're going to purchase it from somebody. So it's something you really want to look into and consider. It could save you hundreds of hours. And I'm not even kidding. It could save you a mountain load of time if you are purchasing it from somebody else. Um, and that's because somebody else has kind of already done that work for you, and you get to kind of pick up where they left off. So you still, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, when you're purchasing something, you are still going to be reading those policies and procedures. You still need to get familiar with them. But somebody else has done all of the big, long legwork, and now you're just kind of looking at it, reviewing it. Yeah, I really agree with this. I need to tweak it a little bit here. You're doing those things, and it's just going to allow you to kind of be successful while also saving you a ton of time. Another reason is that many of the companies that are building out these different policies and procedures, they are building really good policies and procedures, and investing the time to make sure that they are up to the most current state and federal regulations, to help you be successful and to meet all of those different requirements. And they're doing this because they want to have a good reputation in the marketplace, because it allows other, it's part of their business model. If they put out a good product, more people are going to buy it, and then they make more money, and you refer it out to other people and things like that. So they generally are going to be invested in wanting to put out a good quality product for you that's going to meet the needs of the different people around them. So you're not getting, Sam down the street. He's not putting this together. You're getting generally a professional organization putting this process together, these policies and procedures, that's going to be well researched and meet all of the needs that you need for your facility, so that you're able to hit all of those check marks that the state is going to require of you as you're putting in those policies and procedures. Something else to kind of just take note of is, oftentimes when you are purchasing those policies and procedures, you kind of get some consultant work attached to it as well. It's not uncommon that you will have, when you purchase it from somebody else, they're going to give you a little bit of resources. Probably not like a full dedicated consultant coming in like we've talked about in a previous video, that I'll link up above. But you're going to get somebody that kind of does come in and helps you out a little bit as you start building things out, and start really implementing those new policies and procedures. These companies are going to be able to answer at a high level some of the questions that you have. And for a little bit of a fee, they can probably help you customize the policies and procedures to meet your specific facility needs. I mentioned, the example where they may have written it for a 50-bed facility and you're a 10-bed facility. If you paid them an extra $200, $300, $500, they might be willing to work with you to make slight tweaks to the base policies and procedures to match up with what you have. Or you're able to ask them and say, hey, you guys wrote this to be for a 50-bed facility. I'm just a 10-bed facility. What are some of the areas that I need to really dig into and tweak that are going to be a little more specific to me? So it just kind of gives you that frame of mind, and you're going to have access to them because they want to make sure, like I just mentioned, that they are giving you a really good product so that they can continue to thrive with their business model. Purchasing policies and procedures from another company is also going to help you start building a relationship with that company, which is going to be really helpful, especially as just rules and regulations are constantly changing and things like that. They're going to be a really good resource for you to help make sure that your policies and procedures are up to date with the most current rules and regulations. They might have a mailing list that you can get on, that says, hey, in 2022, this new regulation is coming out. Make sure you have this policy. You can buy it from us or you can build it yourself. But here's the CFR, here's the different rules and regulations that kind of govern that thing, so you can go and reference it and build it out for yourself. It's likely that they're going to have some kind of a system in place that's going to allow you to do that, and that relationship is going to really help you out in the long run to make sure you're just kind of up to date with all of the current rules and regulations as they are constantly changing. That's just the nature of working in healthcare. Everything changes all the time, and it's okay. You just have to learn how to deal with them. And another big reason why you would consider purchasing it is you're probably going to be getting a digital copy and a hard copy. A lot of these companies will print off all of the binders for you and ship it out to you. Which is good and bad. If you need to make tweaks to it, you're going to have to go into that digital copy that you're getting and make the tweaks, pull out the previous policy and procedure and put the new one in, but still saving you a ton of time of putting all of those binders together, because that's a lot of work to kind of put those 5 to 10 binders together and build out what you need for your facility. So that's just another really good thing that you want to kind of keep in mind as you're building that out. They're doing a lot of that just leg work, grunt work that can take you a lot of time. Let me get a little bit into the cost of what these policies of procedure, those ready-made ones, what they're going to cost you, and kind of what you might expect to get as you're going through that process. So the cost of getting a good policies and procedure is really going to vary quite a bit, depending on just who you're looking at. But I would say you're looking at probably somewhere between $1,000 and $5,000. And it's not an annual fee or anything like that. It's generally just a one-time fee. You might be able to find some financing options with some of these companies that are offering the policies and procedures as well. So it's a question that you could ask them. Some of them, I would imagine, I haven't seen one, but it wouldn't surprise me if they have some kind of like a retainer thing so that you can get updated ones on an annual basis or something like that, or helping you customize things. I think you could probably find somebody that's going to offer those types of services for you. That said, I would say you should probably expect to be somewhere between $1,500 and $2,500 for a really good solid base set of policies and procedures. If you're looking for something that's a lot more custom to you and you're really getting into it with somebody else, you're going to be on the higher end, $5,000. But if you just want the good solid just base, this is what I want, this is going to meet the state standards, $1,500 to $2,500 is going to be what you could expect to pay for that type of a product. You'll usually get a hard copy of that with the binders, and I just mentioned this, with all those different policies and procedures, along with a digital copy. And many are going to give you that digital copy in Word so that you can go in and make edits. So a lot of them are going to give you that copy in Word so you can go in and make edits. But I think some of them will probably give it to you in a PDF format as well, which is going to be a little bit easier to print. If you need to just take that Word version and put it into a PDF, it's a pretty simple process if you're using Microsoft Word to do that. If you need help with that, make sure you comment down below so that I can create a tutorial video for you on how to transition a Word document into a PDF, so that it makes it just a little bit easier for you to print things off, especially if you're going to like Office Max or something like that to print off a big packet, 200-page document set of things. You probably want that in a PDF. It's just going to help out and make it a little bit easier for you to work with. Now, some of those higher priced products that I talked about are probably going to have some consulting and maybe even customization attached to the policies and procedures. So that's something that you want to take into consideration. Is it worth it for me to pay an extra $2,500 to get access to somebody to help me implement these things, and also to help me customize it to meet the specific needs of my facility? You just kind of want to balance that out. We've talked about how much a consultant might cost you, and we'll reference that up above, so you can get a feel for what that would look like. If you're purchasing policies and procedures and you need a consultant, if you can find everything kind of under one umbrella, you just have one payment to make, which might help you out a little bit in the long run as well. Sorry, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say with this note here. Something else that you can do as you're kind of interviewing and exploring the option of finding a company that can give you policies and procedures is just figure out what it is that you need and then communicate that to them. It's likely that you just need that base copy, and that's going to be plenty to get you started and get you going down the road of having everything that you need. So make sure you're just kind of researching different companies where you could purchase those different policies and procedures. Talk with the company and see exactly what it is they offer in their package when you're purchasing that policies and procedures. When were they last updated? Are they up to date with the most current rules and regulations? Do you offer consulting with it as well? Do you offer any customization? Kind of what is included in this entire package that I am purchasing from you? Just make sure you have a really solid understanding of what you're getting yourself into. It's going to just help you, have a good solid product that you're comfortable with, and then you don't feel like you're getting shorted on anything or paying for something that you thought you were going to get, or it's just going to be helpful that you have that conversation with them to make sure you get what you need, what you're comfortable with, and that you can then move forward with the purchase on that. Many policies and procedures are going to take a few weeks to deliver to you. Like I've mentioned several times, these are 150, 200 page documents. Putting it into binders is a lot of work. And so that hard copy is going to take a little bit of time to get to you. So if you are expecting the state to come for a survey sooner rather than later, you want to make sure that you kind of plan for that, because you don't know when state's coming, and you want to make sure that you have everything in place so that when that surveyor comes, you can just hand it off to them and everything's good. That said, I would expect that you would get that digital copy sooner, maybe even instantly, within a day or two, because that's a lot easier to just kind of send off and be like, here's the digital copy. You may also find somebody that has just a digital copy, and that is going to be sufficient for your needs, and you can do all the printing off of everything, and it might save you a few $100s if they have that option to just give you a digital copy. So that's something else, a different kind of conversation you would have with the company that has the policies and procedures, but something else you might consider as you're trying to build that out. And then also just, make sure that you are purchasing a set of policies and procedures. If you're doing that, that you are getting the most current set of rules and regulations. You don't want to buy from somebody that last updated it 10 years ago and it's completely out of date now. You want to make sure that you are getting the most current version of all of the rules and regulations, because if you don't and a state surveyor comes in, you're going to get dinged for it, and you don't want that to happen. So just make sure you have everything up to date, everything's current, and then it'll just put you in a much better spot. Now in our next video, we're going to be getting into where can you go to find different policies and procedure handbooks that are for sale. So I've given you a lot of information what you might want to look for as you're trying to find those policies and procedures. We'll get into where you can actually go and find some of them, give you a few resources to help you get down that path and finding somebody that could give you a policies and procedure handbook, a good base set to get you started. If you are interested in learning more about investing in assisted living, make sure you visit me on assistedlivinginvesting.net. I've got free resources over there, and you can set up a call and we can kind of chat through the process and see if I could help you find a good place for you to find policies and procedures. And just remember, it doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. Just keep making progress step by step by step. If you do it, you're consistent every day, I promise you that you will be successful. Thanks for watching and have a great day.